All right, joining me via Zoom, he is the Wooden Award winner as the National Player of the Year. Of course, the Wooden Award presented by Hoop Hall. You can find more information on all the awards at hoophallawards.com. Follow them on Twitter at Hoop Hall, on Instagram at Hoop Hall. But as mentioned, Wooden Award, National Player of the Year. We did this time last year. Luka Garza, what's going on, man? How you doing?
How you doing? Thank you for having me. I'm blessed to be here again.
Well, I appreciate you finding time again. You're a very busy man. So the first thing I want to ask you, you made some headlines here over the last couple weeks, and I'm kind of an old man. I don't really understand how this NFT game works, but you obviously auctioned off your NFT. I believe the auction is already completed. But for people that are new, I mean, there were a lot of cool elements to get to meet in person. Obviously a portion of the NFT was donated to the Iowa Children's Hospital, which is incredible. But just tell us a little bit about that, because I'll be honest, man, like I kind of followed this NBA Top Shot stuff from a distance, but I didn't really know. And then there's NFT. Now I see Jalen Suggs did it. Evan Mobley did it. But of course, you decided to do it about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so I thought I saw the NFT as such a cool and unique opportunity for me to kind of go into this way of developing my brand. And an NFT in short, obviously as a kid, I always liked to have trading cards and different, NBA or whatever, kind of trading cards and collect them. So an NFT is a non-fungible token, so it's basically a digital trading card. And the thing that was unique about my trading card is that it came with a list of things. Obviously, there was an opportunity to meet me, go to dinner with me, play horse with me, and a lifetime pass to any camp that I do, and then obviously a signed pair of the shoes that I wore when I broke Roy Marvel's scoring record at the University of Iowa. So it came with a lot. And obviously, like you said, this auction was completed about a week ago, so I just saw it as a really unique opportunity. It was very successful. I'm very glad it was that, and now I'm able to give some money back to the University of Iowa Children's Hospital, and different things like that. So I thought it was really cool, and I'm excited to continue to do these in the future, and I'm excited that more people are trying it. Obviously, you mentioned, but Evan Mobley came out with one last week that just went very well for him, and Jalen Suggs just released one the other day. So I'm excited that more and more people are kind of hopping on this train and seeing what we can do in terms of this market. So it's been a really fun process, and for everybody who doesn't know that I've done it, I'm going to continue to be doing them, so you have an opportunity to get the next one.
And that was going to be my next question. So, first NBA basket, draft night, stuff like that, people will still have the opportunity to kind of cash in on these things in the future.
Definitely. I think there are a lot of great moments that I've had at the University of Iowa, and I'm going to try to capture a lot of them through these NFT cards. And so I'm excited to continue to do that and be able to continue to give money back to the University of Iowa Children's Hospital throughout this process. But, with the team I have, obviously my dad, who's kind of the genius behind the whole idea, and the other list, of different designers and different people that, are kind of involved in the setting up of these cards. We're very excited about continuing to do these in the future. And I'm excited to continue to help them in any way I can. And obviously, I'm very locked in terms of my mindset going into this draft. But I'll still be able to find the time to be able to make some more cards.
So, part of the winner, as you mentioned, I believe you said dinner, but I saw dinner and a movie online. So, what is dinner and a movie like with Luka Garza? Like, well, what kind of movies we watching? We watching comedy, romantic comedy? What are we doing for dinner and a movie with Luka Garza?
I haven't completely decided yet. And obviously, I'm actually meeting with the winner on Zoom probably tomorrow with my dad and with the designer of the cars. So I think we'll talk about it then,
Okay.
and see what kind of way we want to go about it. My favorite movie of all time is The Godfather, so we can go that route. But I'm always down for a funny movie or something like that.
Yeah, that might be a little serious for you and a
Might be a little
stranger.
long. a little long too.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, so I mentioned this off the top, but you are the Wooden Award winner. Who Paul was nice enough to set us up, and we actually did this at this time last year, and it's kind of just surreal for me. I was telling you before we started, just to look back, one where we were as a country a year ago, where we were as sports. I mean, I don't even think we were talking about what sports would look like when they came back. I mean, you went through the whole process, the draft process, the return process, playing a full season. Now that it's done, I mean, how surreal is it, not just this past year, but that the fact that your 4-year career at Iowa, very much decorated, all sorts of individual awards, team awards, things like that. How surreal is it for you to be like, man, this thing is really done and I really am officially onto that next chapter of my career?
It's an unbelievable feeling. I've had so many memories, so many great moments, so many tough times, at the University of Iowa, and I'm just so thankful for every single step of the way, and that kind of paved me into the player and the person that I am today. And I'm just, I'm excited to be able to leave Iowa with a degree in economics, and obviously with everything I was able to accomplish on the basketball court. And I wouldn't be here without the University of Iowa, without Coach McCaffrey, and the rest of the Iowa family. They for sure got me to where I am today, and so I'm forever thankful and forever indebted to a lot of people in that great state. So for me, to think about how fast it's gone by, 4 years. Everyone says that, but you don't, until you truly experience it, you don't understand what that means yet. And to know that it's over is a crazy feeling. But for me, I'm very excited about the next step and being able to continue to push myself as a basketball player and as a person, and continue to grow and learn, and excited to find a new home and a new organization that I can play for and represent to the best of my ability.
I was going to get to that later on down the road, but since you bring it up, I think that's a really interesting element. What is it like, the college, it's a cliche, but it's true. College recruiting process, everybody comes to you. You get to decide where you want to go, what's best for you. I know you went through it a little bit with the draft process last year, but how surreal is it to, whatever it is, 8, 10, 12 weeks from now, one of 30 cities, you could be going to any one of them. How surreal is that to think about?
It's really crazy, but when you're a kid, you always, you're in your backyard, you're playing basketball, you're dreaming of that moment of being able to join an NBA team and call yourself an NBA basketball player. So for me, if I were lucky enough for that to happen to me, I'd be, overwhelmed and very excited. And so I'm, I don't, care where I go. I'm going to be very excited just to be in the NBA and have a chance to make a name for myself. So this is definitely, we're entering, the most important and honestly my favorite part of basketball, which is the off season, and the ability to improve yourself and work as hard as you can and separate yourself from others. And I feel like I've done that at every step of the way, and I'm excited to continue to do that now going into the NBA.
I was going to actually ask you about that because, last year, again, you declared, you went through the process, all that stuff. But, there's kind of this idea you were consensus All-American last year, 2 years ago as a junior, the 2019-2020 season that was cut short. And there was kind of this idea, I mean, how much better can he get? And of course, you did improve last offseason. You did get better. Statistically, you went up. The team was a little bit better this year. I don't even know what the question is really, but it's just funny to me to think about the questions that we had. Oh, he's a college junior, and then you improve so much this year. I mean, I don't know what that says about your work ethic or your love of being in the gym. Again, I'm a bad interviewer because I don't even really have a question with this, but it's just something I was kind of thinking about again as we were preparing for this interview.
No, I mean, thank you for that. It's definitely a great frame of a question for me to kind of talk about. And it was definitely hard, going into a senior year after, I had the junior year that I had so many expectations for what people wanted me to be, and for our team and what we wanted to be. And so to be able to, the most proud thing I am of last year is being able to get a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. That hasn't happened at Iowa in a very long time, and that just shows, especially in our league, how tough that was to be able to pull off, and to have some of the wins we do, winning at Ohio State in their gym, and so many countless other, great wins. That was something that was an unbelievable experience, but it was tough. All the the pressure going into it and everything like that. I really had to use meditation and different things to kind of be able to go out there and be myself every single night. And I think I was definitely able to do that. I knew that there were some things over the summer that I really wanted to improve. I really focused on continuing to improve my confidence and shooting ability from 3-point line, and I was able to, raise my percentage, 8%, and that's something I'm very, very proud of. And continuing with different things and trying to help on the defensive end and help this team become a better defensive team, and we were a far better defensive team than we were my junior year. And then there was a point towards the end of the year, if you took like, there was a 10, 11 game stretch where we were, one of the top defenses in the country. And that's something that we hadn't been able to do any of my years at Iowa. So, I think there's a lot of things to look back on and be proud of, in terms of the steps that, not only I, but everyone on the team took between my junior and senior year to be able to make us such a more successful group as a team. And obviously we wish we did better in March and things like that, but that's just how the game goes. And we did a lot of things that we can be proud of for a long time.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is I know there's no, everybody competes to win that last game of the season, but only one team can. One thing that stood out to me about you guys is, kind of middle of the lull of the Big Ten season. It's a grind. We know how good the conference is, 20 league games. But you guys really were peaking towards the end of the season into the Big Ten tournament. I don't know if that's a testament to you, your teammates, your coaching staff, whatever. But look, only one team can win. But the fact that I feel like towards the end of the year, you were putting your best foot forward, again, is a testament to the group of guys that you had in that locker room that, maybe if the bracket goes a little bit different or if you don't get the team necessarily that you got in that loss, that you guys could have even gone not could have, you would have gone significantly further,
Definitely, we won 9 of our last 11 games going into the Big Ten tournament. So we were playing our best basketball. Obviously, we had a little bit of struggle. We had some injuries, and we had guys who were banged up. Connor McCaffrey after the year got he's had one hip surgery. Now he's getting his second hip surgery, and obviously C.J. Frederick, who was a huge part of our team, was dealing with injuries throughout the entire year. So I think we hit a real rough spot there. And but the great thing about that is we were able to recover from that and be able to go out there and play the best basketball that we've played since I've been here, and put ourselves in a position to be successful in the tournament. And obviously, like you said, there's so many circumstances that has to happen for a team to be able to make it really far in March. You got to be lucky to a certain extent. You got to be healthy, and you got to be playing our best basketball. And I think we were playing our best basketball, but we missed on the other two. So I think that's just kind of what happens with the NCAA tournament, and that's what's such a blessing about being able to tournament or to be able to play in it. And I just forever I'll wish that I had a chance my junior year as well, to just continue to build experience in the tournament. The more shots you have on it, the more chances there are for something to go your way and be able to make a special run like that. And I wish I could have been able to do that for the University of Iowa and all the great people. And I do have confidence that the guys that we had and Coach McCaffrey that is going to happen at some point. It just didn't happen with my group.
Fantastic. You talk about the next step of your journey. Obviously, it is the NBA draft. What are you doing right now? I mean, because like you said, the offseason is the time to get better, and this is in some ways the biggest offseason of your career. What are you working on? I mean, we all know kind of, and frankly, you went through the draft process last year as well. So what did you learn from that draft process? And what are you working on now to put your best foot forward for when you can get in front of NBA teams if you haven't already?
Definitely. I learned a lot last year. Teams wanted to obviously see me improve, on the defensive end and my ability to be, better in lateral movement situations and different things like that. And they also wanted me to continue to work on my 3-point shot. And I definitely focus on that. But they also wanted me to improve as a passer last year and be able to pass out of double teams better and turn the ball over less. And my assist numbers, and turnover numbers improved a lot. And sometimes it wasn't always, I'd get the assist, but I'd get the ball to the right person to make the right play to the next person. And that was what kind of Connor McCaffrey was for me, is I was able to navigate the double team, find him, and then he would find somebody else. And obviously, he was one of the leaders in assist to turnover ratio 2 years in a row, and he was able to do a very good job with that. But I definitely worked on improving and being able to set guys up and put them in positions to score. And so that was all last year what I was trying to do. And now going into this step, I'm kind of doing a lot of things. I'm trying to drop a little weight, just to become a little bit more quicker, a little faster. And I think I had to be a little bit heavier in the Big Ten because of all the big bodies that I was seeing every single night out. But I think in the NBA with the faster paced game and more big guys stretching it out, that I can be a little bit, I can afford to be a little bit slimmer, and be able to do that, and as well as just continuing to work on my touch and 3-point shot and defensive ability, my footwork, and continue to speed that up as much as I can, to just kind of maximize my potential as an athlete. So that's the biggest thing I'm focused on. I'm back home in DC. I'm working out every day. I signed with my agent. I'm very excited about that. So it's all going well right now.
Yeah, I saw you say the thing about the Big Ten that there's, whether it's Hunter Dickinson, EJ Liddell, whomever, like a lot of big bodies. So it's a dumb question. I mean, everybody's trying to trim down as we get into beach weather here in the coming weeks. But like as an athlete, I mean, I just found that really interesting because we think of college athletes, professional athletes being the peak physicality of everybody, but you're kind of even reshaping your body in the process. I mean, what kind of stuff are you doing to get your body, like you said, a little quicker, a little more trimmed down? Because the Big Ten, it's a great conference, but it's a different game maybe than the NBA.
Definitely. I think the first thing I'm doing is obviously when you step into the professional ranks, diet becomes even more important. So having a dietitian that I work with closely and being able to provide me meals and then different things like that, a chef as well, who are able to kind of guide my diet to make sure that I'm eating what's optimal for me to lose weight, but lose fat, but keep my strength. So that's the biggest thing. But yes, I think obviously you see the best athletes are at the NBA level, and how fast the game is. It's hard to play at a very very high weight, and there's only few who can play that heavy. And I could still be as strong as I am now, but 10 to 15 pounds lighter. And I'm very confident in my ability to do that while continuing to work in the weight room, but obviously trimming down, all the fat, or whatever, around my body. So I'm just trying to, kind of continue to maximize, like I said, my potential as an athlete. And I think I need to lose a little weight to be able to do that and be a little quicker and more explosive, for NBA teams to be able to see that I'm more athletic than people think I am. So when I go on the court, and hopefully I'll surprise the people and show that, so they can understand that, yeah, he has the potential to be able to translate to the NBA. Because there's not really a lot of questions about my offense. It's more about my defense and my mobility, my ability to move. So focusing on that and doing that while showing improved offense and different moves and different things that I'm adding, I think will help me out a lot.
Last couple of questions to get you out of here. The first one, you just mentioned it. People say, oh, you said it, like, not, you question your athleticism, whatever. But I mean, obviously, anybody that's watched you play knows how versatile you are. You can step out, you can step in, low post, back to the basket, all that stuff. It's not often that a National Player of the Year kind of goes into the NBA draft with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, maybe. But I'm guessing, you strike me as a guy that plays best with a chip on his shoulder. It's funny, the Trevor Lawrence stuff that came out last week where he said, that's not really who I am. That's not what I'm about. But you strike me as the opposite. You obviously to some degree have to care what people think because you're competing for a spot. But do you have a chip on your shoulder? Do you still feel like you have people to prove wrong even after all the success that you've had?
Definitely. I feel like every step of my career I've gone in, with an expectation that I needed to prove people wrong and show people that I belong. And that happened, going into high school, happened going into college, that people didn't think my game would translate to a high major level. And then obviously now going into the NBA, you're kind of hearing the same thing. So I'm used to this, and I embrace it. It's something that I use it as motivation. And I'm always a guy who I love criticism. I love accepting criticism. When people criticize me, I listen to it and I try to use it, in any way to help me. So for me, I think there's always a chip on my shoulder and always something that is kind of pushing me, to improve myself, no matter what. And I feel like you kind of different people are motivated by different things, but I feel like you always have to have something that's motivating you all the time, and that for me is that, and my love for the game of basketball. So I think those two things combined is why I take such pride in the off season and being able to work and separate from others.
Two quick questions. I'll let you go. The first one, mention you're the Wooden Award winner presented by Hoop Hall. You can visit hoophall.awards.com for full details. I know you're a team guy, team first, but what does it mean to you? I mean, to be recognized as the best player in college basketball. I know it's a reflection of your coaches and teammates, but there has to be a sense of pride for how hard you've worked, for how much you've put into this game to be recognized by voters, peers, all that stuff.
Going into college, I never even, the thought never even popped in my head about getting to that point. I never thought that was something that could happen for me. But I just wanted to work as hard as I could to become the best player I could. And for this to happen, to be able to be consensus national player of the year is an unreal feeling. And I think, later in life is something that's going to hit me and really just kind of be, like, wow, that I was able to accomplish that. And so I'm just really thankful for the teammates and coaches, and obviously my family and my dad, who's pushed me every single step of the way to get to this point. And I wouldn't be here without any of them. So it's definitely an incredible feeling, and to win, awards in the names of people like John Wooden, whom my grandfather actually knew very well, and they were friends, and I was taught a lot about him growing up. And obviously, when you talk about Naismith creating the game, Oscar Robertson, all of these, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all of these names that I get recognized with an award in that name is an unreal feeling. And there's a lot more to say. Pete Newell, and so many others. Lute Olson, any of them. I'm just really thankful that I was able to be thought of in that way.
Man, I've taken up too much of your time. The fact that your grandfather knew John Wooden is pretty cool. But last one, you mentioned your dad. How cool is it? Like I'm a little bit older than you. My parents are getting a little bit older, but to have that experience, that bond of, yeah, you did all this yourself and you deserve 100% credit. But the fact that you had your dad by your side, all that stuff, how cool was that? And then kind of on the flip side, you ever like rewatch a game and your dad got maybe like a little too much airtime? Because we saw a lot of your dad with these Iowa games we were watching the last couple of years.
That's funny. No, I definitely have seen some of the clips, and I just really laugh when they mic them up or whatever. I think it's really, really funny. But no, I think it's awesome to be able to share this kind of experience with him. It was almost like we both won the award because, he kind of won it as the guy who trained me or developed me, and I won it as the player. So I think it was a really, really cool experience for both of us to be able to have the chance to win this award. And these awards, it's like I said, it's an incredible feeling. But, for me, he, dedicated himself into improving me as a basketball player and a person, and sacrificed a lot of his work and whatever to kind of put his time in to me and going to my games every year and all of that stuff. And for him, when we go through the season, he's going through the same mental kind of issues that I am, in terms of the performance anxiety or whatever the case may be. And so he, when I started meditation, I did it with his business partner, but my dad is always in on those meditations, so we both do them together. And I think we, both have to get locked into the game kind of the same way for him to go and watch, and for me, obviously, to play. So it's really, really unique to be able to, win this award, and for my family, my mother, and everybody to be so proud. It's really cool.
Well, listen, when Mr. Garza puts out his first NFT, you make sure you let me know, okay? I'll be the first one bidding on it. But Luka Garza.
Let the peacock fly card.
What's that?
I said the let the peacock fly card. It might be coming soon.
All right. Luka Garza, National Player of the Year, Wooden Award. Dude, best of luck in the future, man. Hope we can reconnect sometime down the road. But you were gracious last year with your time. You were incredibly gracious today. I appreciate it, and best of luck. And like I said, I hope we're able to connect along the way.
Thank you so much. I look forward to doing that again, of course.